I'm curious your opinion on like, well, culture in the sense of so many people are on their phones. I always call it rectangles. Oh, everyone's on their rectangle. But either way, like people don't go out to the social events. People are staying on social media. They're on the dating apps, and there's less actual communication going on. Like, what's your opinion of all the dating apps? Like, I could totally see why going out and being confident into the real world could be a better strategy than just being on your phone and just learning how to press buttons into a phone. And it's like, that doesn't really teach you how to really communicate. But yeah, I'm curious your opinion on dating apps and the whole culture that's going on.
Dude, I love that topic about phones because it's I have and I always say this, I have a love-hate relationship with social media and with phones, with technology. I have a love-hate relationship because it's definitely superficial. Like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, it's superficial. It's not
Totally.
real most of the times, and it's like a facade that people are putting up, right? It has impaired younger generations to develop this communication skills, like you said, going out, meeting people, being more social. They don't have to, they don't need to. I mean, they're in their phones most of the time, and they're swiping on dating apps, and they're liking, scrolling on Instagram, TikTok. So it's this constant dopamine that they're getting, so they don't have this motivation to be social, to go out, to make new friends, to
Totally.
nurture their current relationships. So yeah, anyway, that's the problem with it. However, you can't ignore that it's an amazing and powerful tool if you
Sure.
know how to use it. What
Totally.
is social media specifically? That I want to quickly talk about social media, Instagram specifically. I'll get into dating apps in a second, but Instagram is a very powerful tool, man. And when it comes to, we can talk about the business benefits that it has. It has helped me with my business, with my outreach as well. But specifically with dating, there's a principle called passive attraction. What passive attraction is, allows you to not put in as much work or as much energy into attracting someone, for example, in a conversation, but rather create this aura and this energy where people see you and they're just drawn to you naturally and subconsciously. So, for example, I approach a girl, right, on the street, in a bar, in a shopping mall, coffee shop, whatever. I'm going to spend what, like 15, 20 minutes in a conversation interaction with her. And cool, I could get her number and something like that. But if I exchange numbers with her, then I'm just a number for her after we say goodbye.
Mm,
Whereas if I exchange Instagrams with her, then I'm more than just a number and name. I'm the guy that likes to hang out with friends, that is social, that likes to work out, that plays guitar, that has a cool job, that likes to travel, that works something on himself, that walks his dog. Whatever thing you've got going on, you can communicate it on social media and on Instagram specifically. And it's going to create this passive attraction effect, which allows you to attract people, to at least spark interest in women without you constantly hitting them up or texting them even.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And like, yeah, I see what you mean. I thought you might have meant like where you're passive about it, like you don't necessarily care whether or not it's going to work out. You're kind of passive. You're not so invested that you seem desperate, but this is a good I see what you mean by passive, meaning like they might see you if you put yourself out there, they it's like advertisement for you in some sense. So it's like kind of like passive income but passive attraction, but also like when you're having the conversation, maybe instead of seeming desperate, I'm sure you cover this topic all the time of like, instead of walking up and like, oh, please, I was wondering. And it's like, no, you're like, you seem apathetic, but also genuine. I don't know. Like, I'm curious your thoughts on that. Like the passive and not seeming to not give a fuck kind of attitude, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, Yeah. So there's that, and to get more into what is dating apps as well. This is something, by the way, that I cover with my clients, in which we do Instagram mastery, Instagram and dating apps mastery. So they can even use Instagram as their dating app. I think Instagram is the best dating app out there,
Sure.
because girls that are not on dating apps, that are not on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, they are on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So creating a good profile, we go through that, but only and only after we have gone through the in-person interaction mastery first, right? Because that's when you can actually learn again the fundamentals. You go through scenarios and situations and challenges that will help you develop better connections, deep, meaningful relationships with women, whether it's girlfriend, friends with benefits, whether it's whatever it is. It's easier to go through that in person, because you could have 20 matches, but if you go out on dates with them, then they're eventually going to realize that you don't have that confidence, that you don't have that value, that you know how to communicate when you have a date with them, right? So that's why we go through that
Mm.
Instagram and dating app mastery only after the in-person interactions. So I have nothing against dating apps,
Yeah.
but it's definitely a cope for a lot of men that are scared of approaching women, that are fearful, that are nervous of these in-person interactions. So it's again, it's a double-edged sword. If you're just relying on dating apps, what I would suggest is delete them. Delete them immediately. If you have not mastered the art of cold approach, which I think is a cheat code, if you haven't mastered the art of creating genuine, meaningful, deep connections with attractive women that you meet anywhere, I think that should be your starting point. And if you haven't gone through that, then you shouldn't be using dating apps at all. But once you've gone through that, then dating apps, I mean, it's as easy as it can get, because
Mm-hmm.
you already know how to interact with women. The same principles apply on texting, how to spark attraction, emotion, connection, trust, comfort, and all these principles. So it only makes sense to transition into Instagram, social media, and dating apps, because you're going to be way more efficient. You've already put in the work, and you're basically putting it into auto mode.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah.